Okay, so it's time to get going here on part number 2 for activity 4.2. As you can see, this part is a little bit different than the one before. The first thing that you should notice is that it says all dimensions are in millimeters. So when we go into Inventor, we are not going to open up our typical template. We're going to open up a millimeter template. So when we come into Inventor here, we'll come up to the New tab. So rather than using the new part here, because that will open up nothing but an inch file, we'll click on New up here from the Launch panel. And we will come right here and we'll select the metric folder from the templates. And then we'll be able to select a standard millimeter part. And once we're here, as always, we will start a new 2D sketch. We're going to go ahead and we'll create the front view of this object again to show that contour. I'll right-click, go to my marking menu, select New Sketch. I'm doing the front view, so I will select the XY plane. And use the line command. I can access that from my marking menu as well. Always start my sketch locked to the origin, and I will draw a vertical line up and then perpendicular line, and all along I'm applying some geometric constraints that I know I want so that it can quicken my drawing process here. So we'll get that rough front view sketched out here. And then we will come back in and put some dimensions on. So right click, marking menu, general dimension. The overall width of my object is 60 millimeters. And the overall height of depth of my object's 30 millimeters. My overall height is 40 millimeters. I'll put that on. And this dimension is 10 millimeters. This dimension they give me is 25 millimeters. And the depth of this groove is 15 millimeters. Now I have that sketch drawn out. I can hit the E button for shortcut to extrude and finish my sketch. And the overall depth of this object is 30 millimeters. So I'll put in a depth of 30 millimeters. And I have created the base shape of the object. I'm going to go ahead and create a sketch on the right side view in order to create this pocket hole that goes through my object. So I'll access that by clicking on the face and going to the shortcut button that is Create New Sketch. We'll open that up here and we'll go ahead and project the geometry so that we can use it for dimensions. And I'm going to go ahead and also do that in construction geometry just like we did before, so that it doesn't become a profile or usable profile when we go to do our extrusion. Now I'll click on the rectangle tool to create my rectangle. I need to remember to come up here and deselect construction geometry, or else I'll draw my next rectangle in construction. So I'll deselect that by clicking on it, and then draw my 2-point rectangle. And I'll use my dynamic input to input my dimensions here. That is 15 millimeters by 10 millimeters. And now I need two dimensions. Right click, marking menu, general dimension, and input the dimensions for the location of that rectangle. It's 3 millimeters, and it is 5 millimeters off the bottom of the object. And now I have a fully constrained sketch. I can go ahead and hit the E button on my keyboard for shortcut to extrude and finish the sketch. I want to change the direction to cut, and I could put in a depth here of 60 millimeters to make that hole go all the way through. However, I find that to be slightly bad sloppy CAD, because if I changed the width of my object from 60 millimeters, then I would have to change the depth of this extrusion. Instead, I want to come right here to where it has the distance drop down, and I want to come down and select the through all option so that it extrudes through the entire object. And once I hit OK on that right there will wrap up and finish that object.